Government institutions are meant to be temples of learning, not laboratories for ideological conditioning. The RSS is the enemy, and we will ensure we do everything to curb you. As someone who truly believes in the Hindu philosophy, I will tell you, true dharma uplifts, it never divides.
Some would say that this is more a political stunt to attack the RSS as it celebrates 100 years and less a demand that's based on substantial logic.
I see absolutely no harm in the letter written by Shri Priyank Kharge to the Honorable Chief Minister. All he said is, let's suspend RSS activities in government and government-aided institutions. Now the rational question is, what business does any political party or its affiliate or any organization that is remotely associated to politics have in an educational institution? Government institutions are meant to be temples of learning, not laboratories for ideological conditioning. They are meant to nurture young minds, not poison them. You can teach them critical thinking, but not communal thinking. And secondly, I must extend my congratulations to the RSS. 100 years is not a small feat. But here's the irony. Even after a century, RSS is not a registered body. It functions outside any legal framework. Yet crores of rupees are being spent on buildings, on organizing events. So the natural question that arises is, where is the money coming from?
Okay.
Who audits you? If NGOs, political parties, small vendors are all subjected to scrutiny, why should the RSS be above the law?
RSS has almost 1 lakh shakhas. Is there not a sense that the Congress could be alienating a large part of the society, or because it is really fundamentally against the RSS, which is now increasingly growing and establishing its footprint across the country?
I congratulated them at the very beginning. If you want to carry out your activities, carry it out anywhere else, provided it is within the law, provided these private institutions give you permission. Not in government-aided or government institutions. Unregistered, unaccounted, yet omnipresent. What a paradox. There is a strong possibility that unlawful activities are being masked as cultural initiatives. And since they operate outside the law, their actions go unchecked. There was a time when Hinduism was represented by intellectual giants like Adi Shankaracharya and Swami Vivekananda, who traveled the length and breadth of the country by debating ideas, not wielding sticks. Now, from Upanishads to WhatsApp forward, what a tragic downgrade. These self-proclaimed defenders of Dharma are neither learned, nor are they spiritual. And as someone who truly believes in the Hindu philosophy, I will tell you, true Dharma uplifts, it never divides.